Hi, everyone. Welcome. We ask that you make your purchasing decisions based on currently available technology and not anything new and exciting that we're going to talk about now.
The other night, I had a pretty scary nightmare. So let me tell you about it. It all started on a 60-minute virtual meeting. If that's not scary enough, I glanced at my calendar and realized that I had back-to-back meetings all morning long. I was in a black hole of endless meetings and I couldn't get up for air. Well, there was just one agenda topic, so I was hoping that it would wrap up early, but of course it took the entire 60 minutes, which was entirely unnecessary. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Then I woke up and got ready for my workday. This nightmare is unfortunately a reality for millions of corporate workers every day.
Wow, Annie, way to scare everyone. Anyways, we're here to talk about the 10 ways that you can stop this type of nightmare and replace that meeting while still being extremely productive at work using features right in Slack. My name is Elaine Schwartz, and I'm a Slack experience architect based in New York.
And I'm Annie Keller, a senior experience consultant based in Chicago. We are both Slack aficionados, and as members of Slack's professional services organization, we help our strategic customers use Slack to embrace that asynchronous culture and get rid of ineffective meetings once and for all. Our hope is that in today's session, you'll learn new ways to use Slack to drive both asynchronous and synchronous productivity. You'll understand how teams at T-Mobile collaborate with fewer meetings. In fact, later in our presentation, we'll welcome Tamara Jensen, Principal Product Manager at T-Mobile, to share her story. And finally, you'll be able to identify an ineffective meeting that you have on your calendar right now and prepare to cancel it.
But before we discuss meetings, let's take our discussion up one level. Slack's Future Forum has gathered research to truly understand the issue of productivity at large. I think we all know that where we work matters. 78% of knowledge workers want to be able to work from wherever they're most productive, whether that's a coffee shop, a cabin in the woods, or the office. But did you know that 95% of knowledge workers want flexibility in when they work? To enable real flexibility, companies need to adopt a digital-first mindset, recognizing that the only way to give people the freedom and autonomy they need is to leverage digital tools that allow them more choice in when and how they work. It is no longer enough to take everything from the office and make it virtual. Office-based norms have long imposed an expectation that working asynchronous takes place over email between the hours of 9 to 5. Companies have generally chosen to continue following this logic into the hybrid world. For example, companies have turned all in-person meetings into video meetings. But is this really the best way to get work done? And how many meetings does this actually add up to? So we want you to close your eyes for a minute and have a reflective moment. Look back at your calendar from last week and just add up how many hours you actually spent in meetings. Annie, tell them how many hours they probably spent.
Well, I will, because the average professional has roughly 26 meetings a week, which is about 22 hours in meeting total. That's a little bit more than half of your 40-hour work week. And I'm sure some of you sitting right there likely have a lot more hours in the week dedicated to meetings. That's a lot. And on top of that, how many of us question the value that we get from this time spent in meetings? Of course, we're not saying that meetings don't matter. They do. It's important to do synchronous work and bring your team together to solve really big challenges. But the have a meeting for everything culture needs to become a relic of the past. For teams to be productive in this new world, they have to embrace flexible ways of working. We don't have the time nor the energy to always be in meetings, taking away from what makes us most effective. And that's why Slack has been built to become your digital HQ. Throughout our presentation, we'll help bring this concept of digital HQ to life through one pretty savvy Slack champion. Meet Cody. Some superheroes can fly. Some superheroes have super strength or can read minds. Not Cody, but Cody is a superhero in his own right, and likely not one that you've read about in comic books. And Cody saves the world, and he does so by replacing meetings. Yes, he replaces meetings. He's a modern day meeting canceling superhero, and I'm sure he'll be in everyone's comic books moving forward. He cancels meetings by using his Slack superpowers. These are Cody's best line of defense. So who's Cody? Cody is a sales representative, and he's working on deals with some major accounts this quarter. However, for Cody, it's nearly the end of the quarter, and that means crunch time for the sales team. He feels confident that he can get a big deal signed with his customer, Astro Inc. before quarter close, but he'll need his team's help. However, Cody's calendar is looking a bit wild in the last week of the quarter. This view is probably very familiar looking to many of you, and it shows us that he has roughly 25 hours of meetings this week alone. So when is Cody expected to build customer relationships or strategize solutions for his customers? Cody's goal is to replace many of these meetings. So let's take a look at the superpowers that Cody's going to use to boost productivity for himself and his cross-functional team. His superpowers are channels, integrations, workflows, huddles, and clips.
Cody's first Slack superpower is channels. If you know Slack, you know channels are where work gets done. For those of you that don't know, Slack organizes conversations into dedicated spaces called channels. Channels can be created for any project, topic, or team. Cody's main source of truth for any account is the internal account channel. Cody's team members and cross-functional partners seamlessly collaborate to close deals in these channels. Cody has been working on one of the biggest deals for the business the past 8 months with the customer Astro Inc., and the team is so close to closing. Due to the size of the deal and lots of partners and leaders are interested in the status and want to get time with Cody. To stop all the one-on-one meetings getting scheduled on his calendar, Cody decides to post a detailed internal-only update in the Astro account channel. Every Monday, he shares relationship details, deal progress, and the nuanced details that aren't in the source system. He mentioned key leaders and partners where he needs their attention and help. When Cody knows it's going to be a super hectic week, he will actually send this update message. Cody drafts the weekly account update on Friday afternoon and schedules it to post at 9 a.m. on Monday morning in the internal account channel. One of Cody's favorite things about channels is that he can create a safe and secure channel for customers and his team to collaborate. The Slack Connect channel with Astro Inc. is extremely helpful as the team working on the big deal are collaborating right in the channel with the customer. With this big deal on the line, time is money, and Cody knows that we can't wait the typical day or two it takes to get a meeting on the calendar. There are a lot of detailed technical deliverables in the contract, and Cody makes sure to include his sales engineers and customer IT team in the channel so that when questions arise, they can be answered immediately in thread versus waiting to set up time to discuss them live. This has sped up collaboration greatly and decreased the amount of downtime for the internal team. Oh, Annie, and by the way, there was not one email sent in the closing of this deal. Could you imagine that?
So impressive.
Cody's amazing. Cody's second Slack superpower is integrations. Slack is the 2% of your software budget that gives you a better ROI on the rest of your 98% of your tech stack. When integrations are done right, this is magic. One of Cody's favorite integrations is Sales Cloud for Slack. Why? Because he is able to track opportunities seamlessly, automate repeatable tasks, and get insights about his account right in the channel. Cody owns multiple accounts and can get really busy towards quarter close. With Sales Cloud for Slack, Cody and his team were able to decrease their weekly account update meetings by 3 hours. How? Instead of spending time debriefing and consolidating customer discussions live, and then one person taking the summary and updating the opportunity in Salesforce, now the ability to update the opportunity is democratized and right in their account Slack channel. So when a team member submits an update, a new message will appear in the channel, giving the rest of the team a heads up and a chance to dialogue and ask questions in thread. Another win, the cross-functional team will have access to the latest information right in Slack, and sales ops and management can have a view into progress directly in Salesforce. Managing all of these accounts, Cody can sometimes get overwhelmed by the pipeline status of each deal. To make sure the leadership team has Cody's latest pipeline numbers and forecast, Cody sets a weekly reminder to update his Salesforce pipeline directly in Slack. Every week, Cody updates his account numbers, and when he clicks submit, his manager gets these weekly updates in real time right in Slack as well. This saves both Cody and his leadership from those hour-long forecast review calls. It's a miracle.
Another key superpower or meeting replacement tool for Cody is workflows. Without any coding, members in Slack can automate processes through easy to set up triggers and steps. These workflows run right in Slack channels and help make everyday tasks more streamlined. For Elaine and I, workflows are an everyday tool. We love building and using workflows to work smarter. They can also be a great way to be effective while working async. As Cody is working on his big deal at Astro Inc., of course, he needs help. Every big deal takes a great cross-functional team to take it across the finish line. But he doesn't have to set up time with folks from solution engineering or competitive intel to find the right person to help. Instead, he's going to simply use a workflow to find the right person for support. Cody jumps right into the deal support channel, submits a form with information about his deal needs, and within moments, he's connected with someone available to support. This time saver lets Cody focus on the Astro Inc. deal at hand. We mentioned before that Cody uses his account channel to keep people in the know and up to date. Knowing that Cody needs to onboard a few new team members throughout the deal, he set up a welcome workflow for the channel. The last few weeks, Cody brought in folks from legal and finance to help with contract deals for Astro Inc. Rather than setting up one-on-one channels to get them up to speed, his welcome workflow sends a message to anyone new who joins the channel, and it provides them links to key resources like the account plan and current opportunity links.
So the end of the quarter is here, and we all know Cody's mission: close deals while reducing meetings, increasing productivity, and basically being the office superhero of our dreams. It is no easy feat. That reminds me of Cody's third superpower, huddles. Slack huddles are designed to power real-time informal discussions and working sessions with your team. Think of huddles like you stopping into someone's office to ask a quick question. We first introduced audio-only huddles a little over a year ago, and it quickly became the most adopted feature in Slack history. But we heard that customers are looking for new, deeper ways to collaborate in huddles. As you may have heard in the Slack keynote, we announced that we are introducing video, multi-person screen sharing, message threads, and fun reactions and emojis into the new co-working space in huddles. These new capabilities will be available to all Slack users within the coming weeks. Get excited. In the Astro Inc. Slack Connect channel, Cody can quickly collaborate with the customer team to work through the last requirement issue in one of the contracts. No pressure to play calendar Tetris to find a full 30 minutes to talk. With one click, Cody opened up an audio connection in the Slack Connect channel where the customer can join for a quick problem-solving discussion. Additionally, anyone in the channel can see that the huddle is open and jump in if they have additional insight. In just 10 minutes, Cody and the customer identify a path forward, and the contract is moved to legal to review. We all know that the legal team is high demand at the end of the quarter. In order to make themselves available to sales representatives, they set up office hours via huddles in the Help Legal channel for 2 hours a day during the last week of the quarter. Cody sees that there's no one else in the office hour huddle aside from a member of the legal team. So he takes the opportunity to jump in and ask a question. Cody screen shares a customer contract with the lawyer, and the lawyer uses the drawing tool to point out parts of the contract that need updating, saving them both tons of time. Remember, huddles don't need scheduled participants or start and end times. This is truly meant to be a spontaneous conversation when you need or want it, wherever you're working in Slack.
So Cody has one more superpower that's going to help him reduce meetings: clips. Clips are a very powerful way to share messages asynchronously. These audio or video clips let users record natively in Slack and share directly in channel or as part of the thread. Although Cody is very focused on closing the deal with Astro at the end of the quarter, he also has to think about his future deals coming up. To drum up excitement for the beginning of next quarter, Cody wants to share new and exciting product news with one of his other big accounts. However, getting time on customer calendars is always difficult, so he wants to make the best use of that precious time. Instead of waiting for a live discussion to showcase the new feature, Cody created a short clip in Slack where he demoed the feature. By sharing this demo in advance, he was able to efficiently use his meeting time for an interactive dialogue and a more refined session. So it's the Thursday before the end of the quarter, and guess what? Cody did it. He got the final signature. Before logging off for the day, Cody wants to share his big win with his team. Of course, he's not going to call a big team meeting when everyone is heads down wrapping up their big deals. That's why Cody's sales team has a customer wins channel. Cody jumps in and records a clip walking through the Astro Inc. deal cycle and lessons learned from his big win. Now, anyone in the future can watch the clip and learn from Cody's success.
Woo! Go Cody!
Woo!
Cody had quite the week, closing the quarter with a high win rate, exceeding the team's quota by millions, and saving his team from inflexible, ineffective meetings. So how did his calendar shake out? Remember this view? By using his Slack superpowers, Cody was able to reduce his meeting load by almost 10 hours throughout the week, keeping the most impactful meetings on the calendar for synchronous work with his team. To recap, here are the 10 ways that Cody used channels, integrations, workflows, huddles, and clips to achieve his mission. He posted account updates and collaborated with customers in a Slack Connect channel. He seamlessly updated account information and automatically got the pipeline status leveraging Sales Cloud for Slack. Cody requested deal support and welcomed new members by leveraging workflows and leverage huddles for last-minute contract changes with the customer and to pop into the legal office hours. Lastly, he presented a new feature and a win story with clips. I think by now we know Cody is an icon.
It's true. So Cody replaced his meetings and gave back time to his team, but he's not stopping there. Replacing meetings is not just about creating flexibility. You have to use that time that you earned. Now, Cody can use that time to boost his own sales productivity. Instead of being stuck in meetings, Cody is using his superpower for good. He's focusing on supporting his team members, growing his pipeline, and building customer relationships. Just like Cody, at Slack, we're experimenting all the time to leverage asynchronous tools. Two of our experiments are Maker Weeks and Focus Fridays. During these planned times, we challenge ourselves to replace internal meetings and instead focus our attention on delivering value for our customers. Ultimately, the goal is to boost productivity and give employees time to do their best work.
So Annie just shared some experiments we've taken on at Slack, but what about other organizations? Let's welcome a real-life meeting-canceling superhero, Tamara Jensen, Principal Technical Product Manager at T-Mobile. When COVID hit, Tamara led a team to get one of the largest call centers in the nation to go remote in just a few days. She was supported by her amazing Slack superpowers, which we'll get into now. Welcome, Tamara.
Woo!
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Annie.
Wow, we're so excited to have you here. So Tamara, before we jump into Slack at T-Mobile, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. Like they said, my name is Tamara Jensen. I'm a Principal Technical Product Manager with our Collaboration, Productivity, and Enterprise Knowledge Management teams. And when I'm talking about collaboration, that's a little bit vague. And so, of course, I mean Slack. I mean our conferencing tools. For productivity, we have the Microsoft 365 platforms. We have low code, no code, and automation. And our enterprise knowledge management team is both content and how we serve that content to both internal and external customers. But most of our team is internal facing. And so our customer is the T-Mobile employees.
Exciting. Thanks for sharing, Tamara. We know that T-Mobile employees are big Slack users. Tell us more about what the Slack landscape looks like at T-Mobile.
We are. So we have 100,000 employees, right? But we also have 250,000 Slack users. And we have 170,000 channels, which are broken out into different workspaces. And so we might have a workspace for the technology stack, for the customer care stack, for the enterprise groups. And then we have, and this is a real number, everybody, 45,000 workflows.
I can't believe it.
Oh
that number is so astounding. I want to go in, I want to uncover and look at all the triggers and stuff. Sounds like T-Mobile is on top of it.
Oh gosh, we are. And what we're using is we have the workflows, of course, which I already talked about, but we are heavy users of huddles and clips as well.
I love to hear it. And we know too that not all departments are using Slack in the exact same way. In fact, I'm sure some departments are using Slack to just fit their specific use case needs. Can you share more about maybe one of your favorite examples?
Absolutely. So I'm fairly new to the collaboration and productivity space. My previous experience is 22 years in the contact center space. And T-Mobile, of course, is famous for our team of experts. And they are using channels uniquely, because if you have any history with the T-Mobile team of experts, these groups are about 40 agents and experts that sit together in a contact center space. Of course, that was blown apart when COVID happened and everybody was sent at home. And so we use these channels now to allow the experts to have a space where they can work with each other while they're on the phone, but they can also use channels to escalate if they need help, if they need to call out. Instead of being able to just look around and ask for help, they can now use these escalation channels to get really quick feedback from their peers and from their leaders.
I love to hear it. Yeah, those escalation channels are such a great way to quickly swarm together and, without need for picking up the phone or finding time on someone's calendar. I think that's such a great approach.
Yes.
So you heard Elaine and I talk about many different ways that Cody the Bear is replacing meetings for himself and his sales team. And I know that you have some top tips yourself. So will you share with us some of the top ways that you and the teams at T-Mobile are replacing meetings using Slack?
Absolutely. So Cody had an excellent use case for sales. And for me, we have 1,000 meetings a day. My experience is the same as Cody's. You walk in the morning and you have your first meeting and you just sit in meetings until you stand up and leave at the end of the day. But we have learned over the last couple of years, there's a lot of tools that Slack can provide now to help reduce those meetings. And my first and favorite tip comes from somebody that I work with. His name is Tony Peralta. And what he started doing is using clips. And so every meeting is typically the same. I'm sure you guys can agree that you're going to go to the meeting. A leader or a project manager is first going to give some updates. These are the general status updates for everybody. Then you go through a round table. Everybody gives their status update for their particular task. And then at the end, you talk about whatever needs to be talked about. But what Tony has started doing is he will record his leadership updates for his innovation group meetings. And you can record up to 5 minutes. And so he can just record his face and give the updates as he would have in the beginning of the meeting. And by recording a video, you're able to still come across with the personality that you have. It saves time from writing, of course, but you also can hear tone and you can see facial expressions. And so skipping all of that, he will take that clip and put it into the channel for that group. And so they can watch it when he has the update and before the meeting.
I love that. What are some other ways that then, after the clip is sent, you mentioned that still team members are going around doing their round robin, but you have an approach to replace that as well.
Yes. So many meetings, just like you said, the next step is going to be the round robin. This is where workflows have become so useful. And you can use workflows for syncs in the morning, for project meetings, and direct specific information that you need everybody to share. So if it's a project meeting, you can set up a workflow that essentially asks, who are you? What's your task? What's the status of the task? And what do you need to share? Are you blocked? Do you have an escalation? Is it closed? And can you share a lessons learned? And by using a workflow, you can target the information that you're specifically looking for from everybody in the group. It can be stored in a project channel, and everybody can do that when they have the update, just like the clips. And so you don't need to wait until a specific time during the week, that meeting, to give your updates. And then they're all stored, and so anybody can read it anytime.
I do love that part about it. Like, yes, you're collecting the updates, but you're also making it easier for any other team member to jump in and get up to speed on what's going on too. Maybe they, were double booked and they missed that meeting, or they had a doctor's appointment and they want to come back. They don't have to set up time now or watch the recording. Just reading through that thread brings them up to speed. So
Yes.
now, what do you do with those submissions? And when you find out that maybe there are blockers?
Excellent question. So 2 things that are so useful is in that workflow with that thread, you can have people respond right away to what they've added. Or if you need to hop on the phone and talk about it, if you're blocked, if you have an escalation, this is when you use the huddles. This is when you get on the phone, and so you can actually have that interaction and have that conversation.
That's amazing. Now, Tamara, I know you have one bonus tip for us. I will let the animation go. Emojis. Tell us more.
This one's my favorite one, and it's not just because both my dogs have become emojis and I can respond with that. But one of the use cases that I've seen that is so useful is if somebody posts something into a channel and you want to say, I've seen it, I saw what you wrote, you can use the big bold double I's to say, I see what you've written, before you have a response. And so at least the person on the other end has an acknowledgement that you saw what they said, even if you're not ready to respond. That one has been my favorite, and that works for escalation channels. It works for emergency notifications. It works if somebody's just like, hey, Tamara, here's your update. And I can say, I saw it. I just don't have a response yet.
Always. I love that. Tamara, you are saving so much time. What are you doing back? What are you doing with all that time back?
So just like Slack, we have been using Fridays for learning days and for focus. My boss will call me out in meetings and he'll say, Tamara, multitasking doesn't work. And it's true. And so taking away the meetings, getting off the phone allows everybody to focus on continuous learning, for research, for actually doing the work that needs to be done instead of just talking about the work that needs to be done.
Wow. Tamara, are you hiring? I think a lot of people.
We are, absolutely.
That's fantastic. And before we wrap, tell us, what are you most excited about with the future of Slack at T-Mobile?
So my favorite feature that just came out is the new huddles experience. And you guys touched on it a little bit, but there are a handful of these features that I absolutely love. So of course, the video. I'm a person that reads people's faces. And so I love when you jump into a huddle, you can look at each other. You can see the expressions. You can see my hands moving around when I'm moving them around. But I also love, and this is my favorite feature, that 2 people can be sharing a screen at any given time. And the person who's looking at the screen can choose which one they want to look at. And so if I want to hop on the phone and compare 2 spreadsheets, we can both be sharing our screen at the same time, and we can flip back and forth. And then you can draw on the screen. And so you can circle, you can point to, this is what I'm talking about, this cell right here, which I absolutely love that one. And
That's
then
so fantastic. Keep going.
There's one last feature that is so great with the new huddles, and that is that it saves the thread from that conversation, but you can also name the thread. And so if I want to go back and see, where were we talking about this and what did we say about that spreadsheet, you can specifically search for it because it's been named.
And how amazing is that when, maybe people are busy and they can't join that huddle, and there's no like other system that's holding a chat that's not really contextual in the work.
Yes, and you don't have to go through your email to find what was said. You just go straight to the place where it happened.
Oh my goodness. Well, Tamara, thank you so much for sharing your incredible tips to this audience. I think we're all walking away learning what it takes to really increase productivity and decrease ineffective meetings. So thank you so much, Tamara.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Okay, world, are you ready for your mission? Yeah, you guessed it. Pick one upcoming meeting to replace in Slack. Maybe it's a daily sync you can bring into a team channel like Tamara shared, or a demo you can share in clips and encourage dialogue in thread. Think about it. Do you already have a meeting or two that you're ready to cancel? We encourage you to do it. Basically, what we're saying is be like Cody, be like Tamara. Save the working world one meeting at a time. Thank you all so much, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.